Hey guys, Tyler here with Revvin Reviews. So today we're going to be talking about a brand new McLaren that's going to be coming out here in the next few days. And also I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of what's going to be happening at the Geneva Motor Show. So the McLaren's been around for a little while. It's been obviously a racing legend when it comes to racing, but it also started in production cars. Now, the first production car model that we ever saw from the factory, at least, was the McLaren F1. As many of you guys know, that's a record-setting car. It's a great car of its time back in the 90s. But McLaren did that, and then they kind of stepped away from it for about almost 20 years. They stepped away from producing street-legal cars. They just were focused on racing, and that was it. But since the McLaren MP412C came out back in 2011, 2012, they've been back in the saddle with production of street-legal cars, and they've honestly been improving at an enormous rate. That's honestly amazing to see, because I'll give you a quick rundown of the models. So they have the MP412C, and in most of these they have the coupe and the spider. So I'm not going to overbear you guys with all of this, but they have the MP412C, and then after that they came out with the McLaren 570 and the 650S. The 650S is right now is the big daddy of the two, and then the 570 is the smaller version of the two McLarens. It's still a great car. It's a really great car. It won Motor Trend's Car of the Year last year, just because it's such a great car for the money. But that's that. So and then obviously you have the 675 LT, which is like the track version. It's different than the 650S, but it's similar. It's just the track version of it. So I would consider it closely to the Lamborghini Aventador and the Lamborghini Aventador SV, although the 675 LT has a lot more differences than the 650S. But nonetheless, they've done that, and then obviously they have their hypercars, which are the McLaren F1 back in the 90s, and then they have the McLaren P1, which is today. They've had it out since 2015. And they came out with the P1 GTR, which is the track version, but they made some of those road legal. But anyways, I don't mean to bore you guys with too much of that information. When it comes to the McLaren, the McLaren 720, there's quite a few bits of information that we do not know. However, we do know this stuff. So the McLaren 720 is, we don't really know what it's supposed to be called. We're speculating that it's going to be called the McLaren 720S, just because following their line of logic. That's what we're planning on. People have called it the McLaren P14, and all sorts of different things, but we're going by the McLaren 720S rather. And it's going to be debuted at the Geneva Motor Show, which is here, upcoming in, let's see, what day is today? March the 1st for me, so it's March the 2nd for you guys. So that means it's in like 7 days, in a week. Yeah, in a week. It starts in a week, I think. Anyways, and this is the 87th annual Geneva Motor Show, which, if you guys don't know, the Geneva Motor Show is where most every hypercar gets revealed for the first time, other than the Paris Auto Show. And so anyways, the 720S features a twin-turbo V8 that's 4 liters in displacement, and it's going to be producing anywhere in the low to mid 700 range for horsepower-wise, at least. It's going to be stiffer than the 650S. Because the chassis is a little bit more rigid, but don't worry too much. There's not going to be any weight added. Actually, there's going to be weight reduced. This weight's going to be taken out, and it's going to be in a total of 40 pounds, which is quite a bit when you're talking about a supercar that weighs near nothing. And then also, it's going to have 2 times more aerodynamic efficiency than the previous model, which is the 650S. And lastly, it's going to have a folding display. This is the whole reason why I got on this topic, is because I went on a Motor Trend this morning, and I went on to Autocar and things of that sort, and on each of them there was a common trend that it was talking about the McLaren 720S. I thought that was quite interesting, and I thought you guys might like to talk about it. So this folding display is what they're catching their eye on, because we already knew that previous information a little bit before, but the folding display is interesting. So basically, when you're driving a car, especially on the track, but on the road nonetheless, you want to have as little things in your point of view as possible. So suction cup mounts on the window and things like that are not necessarily good. When it comes to your front display, your speedometer and tachometer and things like that, oil gauges, you don't want it to be super high to where it's blocking your display, or your point of view rather, but you want it to be fairly lower so that it's a low profile, that yet you get all the information that you want. So McLaren's come up with an ingenious idea. I don't know why we haven't seen this in any other supercar. It's an ingenious idea. They basically will show you guys a little quick clip right here. But it's basically a small display. It's about that big, right in between the bars on your steering wheel. So you have the round part on the outside, and then you have the airbag on the inside, and it goes right in there on your dashboard, and so you can see it straight through the steering wheel. But if you need more information, like oil temperature, water temperature, and boost pressure and things like that, it'll lift up and go to, I believe it's an 8-inch display, and display all of that for you. And they also have a new display in the center, which is 8 inches as well. That's going to be a whole new interface, is what they're rumored to be, and it's just going to be quite interesting, actually. So anyways, I want to leave you guys on that note. What do you guys think of this McLaren 720? I think that it's going to be a great car. Honestly, I'm a big McLaren guy, so I'm very biased towards this. I think it's going to be a great car. I think it's going to be one of the top on the market, maybe even a supercar slayer when it comes to like Aventador SV and things like that. But I want to know what your guys' opinion is on it. So go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Put it in a survey when I ask you this next question, or give it to our social media accounts. We're posting every day now, so give it to us in our social media accounts, and I will be sure to respond to you guys. I like talking to you guys. I don't mind if you guys want to debate either on there. I'm down to do it anytime, anywhere. So anyways, and then my question for the survey is, what do you guys think of this car? Like, are you gonna buy it if you had the money? We don't know price range, but would you buy the car if you had the money? So go ahead and put it right there. Click that. It's going to drop down. You click yes or no. I would buy it. I would not buy it. And then that'll give me information on what you guys think about it, and that'll help me to optimize videos for you guys to watch. So without further ado, have a great day, guys.